changing geopolitical dynamics and the rationale of global communication. The rationale and global communication global communication is not my areas of study. That I have to learn from this conference, however. But I just wanted to talk to Kundan sir to combine geopolitics and global communication. So I will be less knowledgeable presentation and communication and global communication. Probably I will just touch upon how global communication will place the importance role, the rationale of downsizing, reducing, making comforts of the geopolitical tensions. That positive side of global communication I will touch upon at the end and talk something about geopolitical dynamics. Well, geopolitics has become a buzzword after the end of so-called First World War in 1990s. In 1990s, after 1990s, for the first time, when the end of history was composed by Francis Fukuyama, neocon, neoliberal American political scientist, he declared that there would be no longer Marxist, communist, get back, come back, roll back in the global geopolitical arena. His thesis through the end of history has been corrected by himself in 2015, another article in Foreign Affairs Journal. And he wrote another article in 2015, self-realized, self-criticized himself that geopolitical rollback of international relations. Geopolitical rollback. Why himself? And recently you might have learned, you have gone through his another book, 2023, I guess, I might be wrong, you can correct me, 2023 or 2022, he published another book, small book, whether capitalism and liberalism is there still, whether that capitalism would be the role model for the rest of the world, political structure. So this is the realization of scholarly realization of the rollback of geopolitics in the global arena after 1990s. From 1945 to 1989, before the Berlin Wall was crumbled, before the disintegration of Soviet Union, there was a geopolitical tensions across the globe through the Cold War dynamics. United States and Soviet Socialist Republic didn't confront each other with a hardcore military arsenal. However, from Latin America, Africa, Asia, and Europe, even in the space, they competed each other. The whole 70 years around was the geopolitical dynamics in every sphere of human life, either one with the Warsaw or with the NATO. And we, country like Nepal and India, even China, some of the leaders, the Nkrumah of Ghana, Nasser of Egypt, Nehru of India, Jawaharlal of China, and even King Mahendra also are the founding member of, we participated in the NAM summit, first Bandung summit in 1955. So that was the third pole of downsizing the tension of geopolitical rivalry between the two global ideological power, unlike the political, unlike military, unlike economic. Ideological competition was there between Soviet Union and United States of America throughout 45 to 90s. After 90s, as I said earlier, that when Francis Fukuyama composed the book at the end of history, we were just graduating undergrad level in the university in Nepal and entering the graduate school, master's level at TU. So, that days, he himself corrected, and after 1990s to 2008, the world remained as a unilateral, United States became the only global power. So geopolitical dynamics was almost non-existent, because whatever United States of America and the Western liberal world aspire, intents and plans could be easily implemented. Probably I will speak few more minutes, so that 1 minute I think still doesn't make me my points clear. So after 2008, when America and Europe became the Eurozone economic crisis and American financial crisis, and People's Republic of China came out with the BRI in 2013. So it has, after 2008, United States has lost her economic strength as per Francis Fukuyama, and many American economists, even Nobel laureates, economics Nobel laureates, and Columbia professors, those like American scholars also. So that has made rise of Asia, rise of China, and American economic crisis made new emergence of global power. So after 2013 BRI, Chinese like BRI project, then after 2015 onward, when United States of America came out with the Indo-Pacific strategy, Quad, and many other regional, sub-regional groupings, Asia, Africa, Europe, and Latin America, at the initiation of United States of America. And China is also aggressively coming up to the BRI throughout the world. So that has made a kind of like new Cold War situation, which was, even today China has not accepted that it is the era of new Cold War. However, American scholars have quite often recited that we are at the second phase of Cold War. So that the second phase of Cold War has created so many geopolitical tribals across the globe. Eurasia, you know that a very small event, I will say that the penetration of EV, electric vehicles, Kundan sir also writes electric vehicles. The penetration of EV in the market has become another geopolitical rivalry between Europe, United States, Japan and China. This is the one example. The critical minerals, geopolitics of critical minerals, that uranium, that cobalt, that chips to make the so many electronic stuffs, AI, 5G, there are so many stuffs, geoeconomic stuffs that has created geopolitical rivalries between United States, China, Europe, and of course regional level, India, China, border dispute. However, they are engaged deeply in economic transaction and bilateral trade transaction. But in Africa, that recently United States of America was declared to intervene in Nigeria, as Nigeria has suppressed the Christian community in Nigeria. So any time United States of America can go everywhere else, however, because of the geopolitical rivalry between United States of America and Asian powers. Sometime, couple of weeks ago, you might have seen that even Modi ji, Indian president, visited China to see Xi Jinping. So while United States of America imposed high tariff to the Indian stuff to United States of America, probably Modi ji has realized kind of like the era of Asia. So unlike going all the way to United States of America, even being the club member of IPS and Quad, Modi came to Beijing, and even Putin came, of course, in Beijing. So that has proven that the era, Asian era, and aggressive Russian geopolitical revisionism. Revisionism is American jargon, however, but it has geopolitical revisionism because, as per Francis Fukuyama, Soviet Union was demised, collapsed in 90s. But she has came back, rolled back with the hat of Putin. So Putin has assertively coming off and playing in Ukraine, in Syrian war, even in try to talk with the Gaza on behalf of Palestinian people in African affairs, and he has engaged with China, paying selling bunch of like petrol and gas, which was used to sell to the Europe before Ukraine war, after imposing the economic blockade of United States of America and Western world against Russia. So many geopolitical rivalries prevail in the contemporary globe. So for us, global communication, 1 minute, just give me 1 minute. And given this situation, given this context, the geopolitical rivalries between the global powerhouses, regional powers, and the declining, deteriorating multilateralism. What is the situation of United States, United Nations, and many other multilateral organizations has become deteriorating because of the aggressive populism, aggressive revisionism, aggressive geopolitical rivalries, aggressive American or Western or Chinese or Indian kind of like populism, means the judo nationalism or aggressive nationalism. So, given this context, global communication is digital. In Marxist critical theory, as per, global communication is another facet of capitalism, however. Because after 1990s, when globalization came up in vogue, so through globalization, mass media, social media, and cultural means, another international sphere of influence, kind of like sphere of influence has been increased by the actors of globalization 1990s. So there are so many negative impacts of global communication if it is understood as a globalization and capitalist perspective. However, at the end, what I would like to conclude that, the positive side of global communication, to downsize, to normalize the geopolitical tension, it may create cultural exchanges. It may create decrease the digital division. It may create economic collaboration. And it may create social engagement among the people across the globe. So that amid the serious geopolitical tension in the contemporary globe, this is another event of global communication, what this department has designed in cooperation with many colleagues from China and across the globe. Is one of the examples, and what Trump has done last week in Seoul, meeting Xi Jinping. Trump has met Kim Jong in Vietnam and Singapore twice, and Modi ji went to Beijing last 2 months back. So these are kind of like global communication means. So we believe, being a small state, small power, Nepal always should focus on global communication, because through this global communication, we only can achieve our national interests and promote our national interests. Thank you very much.